The chandelier light glinted off Elizabeth Harrington's diamond necklace as she seized Lauren's uniform collar and yanked, the fabric splitting down the shoulder. "This dress costs more than you'll ever earn," Elizabeth hissed, her voice sharp with disdain. Lauren stumbled back, the torn black uniform exposing her smooth skin. Elizabeth shoved again, harder, sending Lauren crashing into the champagne table. Crystal shattered, and red wine spilled across the white marble floor of the Beverly Hills ballroom. Lauren lay sprawled amid the wreckage, her uniform in tatters, her shoulder bare under the harsh glow of recording phones. Elizabeth loomed over her, her $8,000 designer gown stained, but her expression triumphant. The crowd pressed closer, cameras flashing, some live-streaming the chaos. The viewer count climbed, 31,000 and rising. Lauren didn't cry or scream. Her eyes, calm and steady, held a depth Elizabeth couldn't fathom. Have you ever seen someone reveal their true self when they believe no one can stop them? Lauren pushed herself up, glass crunching under her palms, and reached for a tablecloth to cover herself. "Don't you dare!" Elizabeth's voice sliced through the murmurs. "You ruined my $8,000 gown. Do you have any idea what that's worth?" The crowd tightened around them, designer dresses rustling, jewelry sparkling under phone flashes. "More than you make in a year as hired help," Elizabeth continued, her tone venomous. "This is why I told Prestige Catering not to hire people like you for civilized events." A woman in emeralds snickered. "Elizabeth's right. Standards have slipped." Lauren kept her gaze low, gathering glass shards with deliberate care. She'd cleaned messes before, but never her own humiliation. Elizabeth circled her, predator-like. "Look at this disaster. Wine on marble. Do you know what this floor costs per square foot? Of course not. People like you live in apartments smaller than my shoe closet." The digital clock on the wall read 9:30 p.m. VIP donor presentations were set for 10:30. Lauren's phone buzzed. 3 missed calls from James, her CEO contact. She ignored it. "Ma'am," a security guard in a crisp suit approached. "Should we remove her?" "Not yet," Elizabeth said, her smile cold. "I want everyone to see what happens when you hire unvetted help." The catering supervisor, wringing her hands, stepped forward. "Mrs. Harrington, I'm so sorry. Lauren's usually very careful." "Lauren?" Elizabeth's eyebrows arched. "You're on a first-name basis with the help? How charming." She turned to Lauren, still kneeling. "Stand up when I'm addressing you." Lauren rose slowly, pulling the torn fabric back over her shoulder. Her quiet dignity silenced the room's laughter. "You ruined my gown, my evening, my charity gala," Elizabeth said. "Anything to say for yourself?" "I apologize for the accident, Mrs. Harrington," Lauren replied, her voice steady, too polished for a server. "I'll file a report with my insurance to cover the damages." Guests exchanged glances. "Insurance for a server?" Elizabeth laughed. "Insurance? Darling, you probably don't even have health coverage. This gown costs more than your car." Lauren reached into her pocket, pulling out a phone in a custom leather case. Expensive, if anyone noticed. Her wedding ring caught the light as she scrolled through contacts. "I understand you're upset," she said calmly. "Perhaps we should handle this through proper channels." "Proper channels?" Elizabeth's voice was a whip. "The proper channel is you begging for forgiveness and your company paying every cent, plus damages for ruining this event." The live stream comments surged. "Team Elizabeth, make her pay. That server's too calm. Suspicious." The viewer count hit 45,000. A young heiress waved her phone. "Should I call the police? She assaulted Mrs. Harrington by throwing wine." "It was an accident," Lauren began. "Was it?" Elizabeth stepped closer, forcing Lauren back against the wrecked table. "You people always have excuses, always playing the victim." Lauren's phone buzzed. She glanced at a text, her expression flickering, not with fear but something else. She typed quickly, "Honey, the test is complete. Elizabeth Harrington failed spectacularly. Execute Protocol Alpha." No one saw the message except a few front-row streamers, too caught up in the drama to read closely. Elizabeth addressed the crowd. "They come into our world, pretend to belong, then blame us when they can't keep up. This is why I support workfare, not welfare. Real consequences for failure." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. The viewer count neared 50,000. Lauren stood still, her silence not that of a defeated server, but of someone waiting for the perfect moment. "Well?" Elizabeth demanded. "Are you going to clean this mess or just stand there looking pathetic?" Lauren bent to collect more glass. Her phone slipped slightly from her pocket, revealing the edge of a black American Express Centurion card. In the chaos, only the closest cameras caught it, but no one noticed the detail. "That's right," Elizabeth said, satisfied. "Clean up your mess. Maybe next time you'll be careful around your betters." The clock ticked to 9:45 p.m. The crowd was fully engaged, phones capturing every angle. None realized they were witnessing the prelude to the most expensive character test in Beverly Hills history. Lauren's phone buzzed again. She read the message and allowed a faint smile, one that never reached her eyes but shifted her presence entirely. The real show was about to begin. The security chief pushed through the crowd, earpiece crackling. "Mrs. Harrington, should we escort her out?" "Not yet, David," Elizabeth replied, eyes gleaming. "I want her to understand the full consequences first." Lauren finished collecting glass, her movements precise despite the slipping uniform. Every adjustment of the fabric drew more camera flashes. Live stream comments grew vicious. "Stop being dramatic, acting like a victim when she caused this." The viewer count hit 67,000. "Stand up," Elizabeth commanded. "Face me properly." Lauren rose, her posture almost regal, a contradiction that some guests noticed but dismissed as defiance. "You think you're special, don't you?" Elizabeth circled her. "Coming into my home, my gala, acting like you belong." "I'm just doing my job, Mrs. Harrington," Lauren said evenly. "Your job is to serve, to be invisible," Elizabeth snapped, gesturing at her stained gown. "This is what happens when people like you forget their place." The catering supervisor tried again. "Mrs. Harrington, perhaps Lauren could change into a spare uniform." "Absolutely not," Elizabeth cut her off. "I want everyone to see what she's done, what she is." She turned to Lauren. "You'll finish this event as you are, a reminder of your failure." Lauren's phone buzzed. She glanced at a text, standing by. "Give the signal." "Jay," she replied. "Almost time. She's escalating. Stay ready." The exchange took seconds, unnoticed by the cameras. "Are you texting?" Elizabeth's voice was dangerous. "During my gala, while I'm disciplining you?" "I was checking emergency contact information for my insurance," Lauren said. Elizabeth laughed. "You keep mentioning insurance like it means something. Let me explain reality, little girl. You have debt, problems, a job you're about to lose, and now a lawsuit that'll haunt you forever." Lauren's stance shifted. She stopped adjusting her uniform and met Elizabeth's gaze directly. "Mrs. Harrington, I want to confirm your position. You're saying I'm personally responsible for damages to your gown, floor, and event, and you intend to pursue legal action. Is that correct?" The precision of her words startled the crowd. Elizabeth, too angry to notice, nodded. "Yes, you're responsible for every penny, every embarrassment, every consequence of your incompetence. And you want everyone to see this punishment," Lauren continued, "to understand what happens to people like me when we forget our place." "Exactly," Elizabeth said, triumphant. "This is a lesson for everyone watching." She grabbed Lauren's already torn uniform and yanked, ripping it further down the front. The crowd gasped. Cameras flashed. The live stream spiked to 80,000 viewers. "There," Elizabeth said. "Now you look like what you are. Broken. Worthless." Lauren didn't flinch. Instead, she smiled. A small boardroom smile. "Thank you, Mrs. Harrington. That was exactly what I needed." Elizabeth frowned. "What are you talking about?" "I needed to be certain of your character, your values, when you think someone can't fight back," Lauren said calmly. "You've provided more evidence than I could have hoped for." A chill ran through the crowd. The security chief stepped forward. "Ma'am, should we call BHPD? We have assault and property damage." "Yes," Elizabeth said. "I want her arrested." "Are you certain?" Lauren asked. "Once law enforcement arrives, this becomes public record. No taking it back." "Of course I'm certain," Elizabeth snapped. "You attacked me, ruined my gala." "I spilled wine accidentally and you assaulted me twice in front of 80,000 viewers," Lauren replied. But if you want the police, that's your choice. Elizabeth hesitated, unsettled by Lauren's confidence, but the crowd was watching and backing down would look weak. "Call them," she ordered. The security chief spoke into his radio. "Dispatch, Unit 7 at the Harrington residence. We need officers for assault and property damage." Lauren's phone buzzed. She nodded at the message. "Units en route. Legal team ready. Press alerted. Stock positions confirmed. J." She replied, "Perfect timing. She's escalated to police. Full execution authorized." She faced Elizabeth. "Mrs. Harrington, one final chance to reconsider. Are you certain you want to proceed with legal action?" Elizabeth laughed. "You're trying to threaten me? In rags, about to be arrested." She turned to the crowd. "Can you believe this audacity?" "I'm not threatening," Lauren said. "I'm offering you a chance to show decency." "Decency?" Elizabeth's voice cracked. "You want decency after attacking me?" Lauren stood taller, regal despite the torn uniform. "Then we proceed." Police sirens wailed, growing closer. The crowd tightened, phones recording. The real consequences were moments away. Police cars pulled into the driveway, lights flashing. Lauren answered a call on speaker, her voice calm. "Hi, darling. How's your investigation going?" "Very thoroughly, honey," came a deep, authoritative voice. "Mrs. Harrington just tore my dress, assaulted me twice, and called the police for an accidental wine spill." Elizabeth's smile faltered. Something was wrong. Lauren's demeanor, her posture, her lack of fear, didn't fit. "Mrs. Harrington?" the voice asked. "Elizabeth Harrington of Harrington Estates?" "Yes," Elizabeth snapped. "Who are you?" "I'm James Carter, CEO of Carter Global Investments. The woman you assaulted is my wife, Dr. Lauren Mitchell." The ballroom erupted. Phones frantically searched Google. Live stream comments exploded. Elizabeth's face paled as the crowd backed away. Search results flooded screens. James Carter, real estate mogul, worth $6.2 billion. Carter Global, largest private investment firm on the West Coast. "You're not," Elizabeth stammered. "Dr. Lauren Mitchell," Lauren said, removing her apron. "Harvard MBA, board member of 5 corporations, and James Carter's wife. Tonight, I was conducting a character assessment. The live stream hit 120,000 viewers. Comments went wild. She's a billionaire's wife." "This was a test," James's voice continued. "Elizabeth, my wife was testing your moral character for Carter Global's partnership. We needed to know how you treat the powerless." Elizabeth's mouth worked silently. The crowd realized they'd witnessed a catastrophic miscalculation. "The test was simple," Lauren said. "How do you act when you think someone can't fight back? You failed spectacularly." "You were testing me," Elizabeth whispered. "This was planned." "The spill was an accident," Lauren replied. "Your response was your choice." James delivered the blow. "Elizabeth, Carter Global was set to announce a $1 billion investment in your Coastal Haven resort project tonight. Contracts were ready for Monday." The word billion hit like a shockwave. Elizabeth's board members pushed forward, faces pale. "Was," Elizabeth croaked. "I'm instructing our legal and finance teams to cancel Coastal Haven," James said. $1 billion withdrawn permanently. We're also calling in $200 million in bridge loans due immediately. Live stream comments blurred. "Stock crashing. She's done." The viewer count hit 140,000. Elizabeth's CFO whispered, "Our stock's down 38% in after-hours trading." "This can't be real," Elizabeth breathed. "It's very real," Lauren said. "You assaulted someone you thought was powerless in front of 140,000 witnesses," James continued. "The character assessment clause in our agreement states that discriminatory behavior or assault disqualifies partners. You're permanently ineligible." Elizabeth's attorney rushed forward, whispering, "Don't say another word." But it was too late. The damage was broadcast to the world. Police officers entered, expecting a simple assault case. Sergeant Rivera surveyed the chaos. James's voice boomed through Lauren's phone. "For transparency, here's what Elizabeth destroyed tonight. $1 billion in funding for Coastal Haven, $200 million in loans due immediately, and distribution of this video to our $47 billion investor network." Elizabeth's CFO clutched his phone. We're down 42%. Credit agencies are reviewing us. Ma'am, Sergeant Rivera addressed Elizabeth. We got a report of assault. Can you explain? Elizabeth froze. How could she explain calling police on a billionaire's wife? Lauren stepped forward. Officer, I'm Dr. Lauren Mitchell. Mrs. Harrington assaulted me twice after an accidental spill, recorded by multiple live streams. Rivera checked his phone. From the video, it looks like you tore her clothing in response to a spill. Lauren held up her uniform. She ripped my collar, pushed me into the table, and tore it further. I have photos and audio of her discriminatory remarks. James added, Officer, my wife was evaluating Harrington Estates for a $1 billion investment. Mrs. Harrington's actions provided all the evidence we need. This is entrapment, Elizabeth cried. She lied about who she was. I never lied, Lauren said. I was wearing a uniform provided by Prestige Catering for this evaluation. Everything was legal. Detective Lopez stepped in. Mrs. Harrington, do you want to pursue charges? James issued terms. Elizabeth, you have one path to avoid ruin, expiring when the officers leave. Public apology to my wife, $2 million compensation, $10 million donation to workplace dignity organizations, company restructuring with oversight, and your resignation from daily operations. The crowd held its breath. The live stream hit 151,000. Elizabeth's attorney whispered frantically, but the numbers were clear. Fighting would cost more than surrendering. Refuse, James warned, and by Monday Harrington Estates faces bankruptcy, investor flight, and federal charges for assault and discrimination. Lauren added, you have 151,000 witnesses to your assault. That's a federal hate crime. Elizabeth's voice broke. I need to speak with my attorneys. You revealed your true character, Lauren said. The question is whether you'll take responsibility. Rivera looked at Elizabeth. Ma'am, do you want to pursue charges, or should we take your statement about assaulting Dr. Mitchell? Detective Lopez spoke into his radio, then addressed both women. This looks like a civil matter resolving itself. Do you need us to file reports? You have until the officers leave, James said. No extensions, no mercy. Elizabeth stood amid the wreckage of her reputation, the crowd silent save for the buzz of 153,000 live stream viewers. Her attorney whispered, but she stared at Lauren, who radiated authority despite her torn uniform. I accept your terms, Elizabeth said, her voice trembling. All of them? James pressed. Yes, she whispered. I accept responsibility. Rivera nodded. Are you dropping charges against Dr. Mitchell? Yes, Elizabeth said. I assaulted Dr. Mitchell. She was the victim. Lauren stepped forward. Mrs. Harrington, be clear for the record. Elizabeth faced the cameras. I assaulted you, tore your clothing, and insulted you based on your perceived status and race. I thought you were powerless. And now, Lauren prompted, now I know you're Dr. Lauren Mitchell, wife of James Carter, and this was a character test I failed. James spoke. The $2 million transfer to my wife begins tonight. Legal will provide details. Elizabeth's CFO stepped forward. We'll authorize it immediately. The $10 million donation will take 72 hours. The character training will be through the Carter Institute, Lauren said, and your resignation is effective immediately. Elizabeth nodded. The board will select interim leadership. Lauren softened. Despite tonight, there's good news. 3 companies are interested in acquiring Harrington Estates assets, ensuring your employees' jobs. Relief crossed Elizabeth's face. My workers shouldn't suffer for my mistakes. The officers left, satisfied. Lauren addressed the crowd. Tonight was a planned evaluation of character under pressure. Mrs. Harrington's response showed how power can corrupt judgment. But her acceptance of responsibility shows redemption is possible. James added, the Carter Institute will publish a case study, with Mrs. Harrington's permission, to help organizations implement character evaluations. Elizabeth agreed. Use my failure to teach others. Lauren whispered to her, you have a chance to become a better leader. Don't waste it. The live stream peaked at 156,000. Comments shifted. This is accountability. Both women showed class. The VIP presentations were cancelled, but a billion-dollar lesson in character had been broadcast. Dr. Lauren Mitchell stood at Harvard Business School, addressing 800 MBA students. The most dangerous assumption in business is that character matters less than competence. The screen showed Lauren in her torn uniform, Elizabeth looming over her. Caption: "The $1 billion character test." "How did you know Mrs. Harrington would fail?" a student asked. "I didn't," Lauren said. "We needed her authentic response when she thought consequences didn't exist." Harrington Estates, under new leadership, had thrived, adopting the Carter Standard for ethics, used by 2,000 corporations globally. Elizabeth, in the third row, took notes, now a student in Harvard's leadership program. "Mrs. Harrington," Lauren called, "what did you learn?" Elizabeth stood. "I learned that private prejudices poison everything. Dr. Mitchell didn't destroy my company. I had already destroyed it through small moral failures." The Carter method had reshaped business. It uncovered moral issues in 23% of executives, reducing discrimination lawsuits by 67% and boosting employee satisfaction by 89%. The Carter Act mandated anti-discrimination policies in 47 states. "Character testing isn't entrapment," Lauren said. "It's about making choices conscious and consequential." Elizabeth added, "Dr. Mitchell could have ruined me. Instead, she offered accountability with redemption. That taught me more about leadership than anything else." The final slide showed Lauren and Elizabeth signing federal character legislation. "Change is possible," Lauren said, "when people choose growth over defensiveness." "Your homework," she concluded, "is to observe your own choices. How do you treat those who can't affect your success? That's who you really are." As students approached Elizabeth, asking about her transformation, Lauren watched with satisfaction. A billion-dollar test had created a template for moral leadership. Proving character is destiny.